Hi you guys, it's Summer. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through all of the places that I went while I was in Lima, Peru and ranking my top 5, which has been really hard to do, by the way. This list was so hard to make because the food scene in Lima is incredible. It's hard for me to imagine that any city could have a food scene this good. So I'm really excited to get into these. I'm going to start with my number 5 and work all the way to my number 1 spot. And I'm really curious to see if you guys have been to Lima, if you agree with this list, if there's anything you think does or doesn't deserve to be on this list. So definitely send me a message, but I will hop right into my ranking. One more thing, guys, I did want to mention that I already did a 4-part series and I've been releasing even more videos on top of that about my time in Lima because there was just so much to cover. So if you haven't already watched parts 1 through 4 of Eating My Way Through Lima, I highly recommend going and checking those out. All right, let's start with my number 5 slot. Number 5 is going lovingly and respectfully to Demo. I love Demo. You guys know, if you watch those videos, that this is actually the place that I went to the most while I was in Lima because I could not stop going back. I was trying not to really do any repeats of restaurants because there were so many places I wanted to go, but I had to make an exception for Demo and I ended up here 3 times. So the dish that I would say you cannot miss if you go to Demo is the arepa benedict. It is so delicious, it's so balanced, it's sweet and savory, has the best hollandaise I've ever tried in my life, and this egg was cooked so perfectly. In the number 4 slot, I am gonna put Iselina. Oh my gosh, you guys, Iselina is amazing. I really feel like you probably couldn't go wrong with anything that you ordered here, but for me, the dish that stole my heart was the tallarín verde with chicken. This was so incredible. I have had tallarín verde at a million different places, and this was one of the best that I've ever had. And this is just such a good spot. Everything was so good. The portions were amazing, the vibes were amazing, the service was amazing. I highly recommend checking out Iselina. In the number 3 slot, we have Tommo. Tommo is a Nikkei restaurant that has such amazing Peruvian sushi and really good cocktails. And I will say, I don't think you should skip out on the cocktail menu here, but the dish that you cannot miss from Tommo is gonna be the bocce sashimi. This is like a truffle scallop that they torch right in front of you as they serve it to you. And I think if you watched my previous video about going to Tommo and I broke down like everything we ordered and everything, I ended up getting like 4 orders of this sashimi. It is really that good. In the number 2 slot, we have Astrid Gastón, and you guys, I could not decide whether to put this at my number 2 or my number 1 because my number 1 and my number 2 were so close. So I really highly recommend checking out both my number 2 and number 1. But with that said, the dish that blew my mind at Astrid Gastón ended up being the hen dumplings. And this was something I just probably wouldn't have even ordered on my own. But luckily the service was so amazing there and they gave me such awesome recommendations that I ended up falling in love with this. And I do feel like I need to give a special shout out to the Andean cheesecake because it might be the best dessert that I've actually ever had. And finally, drum roll please, in our number 1 spot is Lady B. Lady B is first and foremost a bar, and this is something that also made me really conflicted about whether or not I could put it in my number 1 spot. But I did end up eating a full meal here, and honestly, it really was that good. I think it deserves the number 1 spot, and this was such a special experience. From the moment you walk in, you are treated so well here. It feels like you're on a spaceship, and I don't know, this is just such a unique experience, unlike anywhere else I've ever been, so I strongly recommend this. The best dish I tried here was the lucuma bread, which again feels like a really controversial take. I would not have expected myself to be saying that my number 1 dish from my number 1 restaurant was the lucuma bread, but just trust me. And the best cocktail here, because it is first and foremost a bar, I feel like I have to shout out, was the Madre de Dios nut. And you guys, I wish I could tell you more about what was in this. I cannot even believe I'm making this video without knowing the answer to that, but I believe it was a whiskey-based cocktail, and then it came with a Brazil nut, and you take a bite of the Brazil nut, and I don't know, you guys, it's so good. You have to go here. If you're gonna be in Lima, I would highly, highly recommend checking out all 5 of these spots, but especially, of course, my top 2, Lady B and Astrid y Gastón. That is my final ranking, you guys. I had such an amazing time in Lima, and I seriously had some of the best food of my entire life over the last couple weeks, and I'm so excited to be sharing all of it with you. Definitely make sure to send me a message if you've tried any of these places, if you want to try any of these places, and let me know what city you want to see me check out next. Thanks, guys. Bye.